Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. Across from me is Troy Brittingham.
And you're Jeff Ackerman.
And this is our spoiler-free version of our review of Don't Worry, Darling. And this is our theme song. TB&J! TB&J!
Jeff, I'm pretty worried about this podcast.
Why?
I'm just filled
Don't worry,
with
Troy.
worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry?
Don't worry.
Why not?
So, we just saw Don't Worry, Darling in theaters, and if you're unfamiliar with how things go around here, we usually try to give everything either a thumbs up or a thumbs down because the rules of the internet say you can either like something or hate it. There is no middle ground. So, without further ado, Troy, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I am gonna say it's a complicated movie. This is a real test of the thumbs up, thumbs down, I feel like.
It's a very complicated movie.
I'm gonna go thumbs down.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You don't explain it until the second half where we
Right.
do spoilers. I'm thumbs up,
Okay.
but I feel like I've given very few things in my life a thumbs down, except for Rogue One, but we won't talk about it. So this movie essentially follows Florence Pugh's character named Alice, and she's married to Harry Styles' character Jack, in this picturesque 1950s beautiful town where the men go to work and the women stay home and do women things. That was super sexist of me to say. They are housewives.
Well, that's the point of the movie.
That's the point of the movie, yes. One of many. And she starts asking questions about the town. And everything kind of spirals and unravels from there. I won't say too much more. Obviously, this is the spoiler-free version, but it is a psychological thriller / horror. And if that's something that piques your interest, go see it. Don't worry about Chris Pine and Harry Styles possibly spitting on one another at the film festival thing.
We're gonna get into that with the next video.
Yeah, in the spoiler version, Troy's got a Excel sheet with all of the drama, and we're gonna go through all that because it is a fucking trip. And I've not heard most of it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that got me excited was you haven't heard of most of the stuff going on.
Yeah.
Basically
none of it except for the spitting thing.
I have quotes. I have video. I have a video for you. I have a bunch of different
Jesus
stuff.
Christ.
It is.
Video makes great audio pod.
It's not anything that will affect it.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, there's a lot going on with that, and it's one of the reasons we are not a drama channel.
Yeah, we are not a drama channel because I don't have the energy to keep up with that.
And most of the stuff, I don't care. But
right.
There's something about this movie's drama specifically where it's like, this will eventually be like the greatest behind-the-scenes documentary movie ever made.
Are you counting James Franco doing that Room documentary?
I'm going to say yes.
Whoa.
Because like, there's a lot. There's so much happening. We'll get into that in the next.
We will.
One.
Teaser. But if you like a movie that makes you like start asking questions while you're watching, and a movie where you're not entirely sure what's going on and you feel confused and uncomfortable until like things start revealing themselves and solidifying,
and an amazing cast,
an amazing fucking awesome cast. You have fucking Florence Pugh. She's the new Black Widow, guys, and she's in this movie, and she's mostly naked for like a few minutes of it. Like she's a fucking Marvel superhero. You got Harry Styles,
Academy Award-winning nominee.
Yeah. You got fucking Harry Styles, who fucking I don't need to tell you how big Harry Styles is, okay? The fucking New York put a banner up for Harry Styles and his 15 nights of shows in the fucking Knicks Stadium. That's great. Whatever. Harry Styles is forever enshrined in, like, women mentality of being this awesome god person. And probably deservedly so.
And there's also, this is one of his first ever
Acting?
main acting roles.
Interesting. Gemma Chan,
Mm-hmm.
who I fucking love her.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't remember her name while I was watching it, but I was like, oh my god, I know her. I love her. You know, everything I've seen her in. What's her name? And I just couldn't remember it off the top of my head, but Gemma Chan is in this. Fucking Chris Pine, we mentioned, he's in it.
Chris Pine, who is also amazing and also like a very, very big superstar that often gets reduced down to, oh yeah, that guy from Wonder Woman and Star Trek, and then you remember that he's also is in like a ton of actual like
and
things.
he's so good. He disappears into roles that he
Mhm.
does. I fucking love him. Nick Kroll is in this. I saw Nick Kroll. I was like, what the fuck? Okay,
Mhm.
I'm down for it. And he does it really well. Olivia Wilde. Now, I've had a big, giant crush on Olivia Wilde since I was a teenager watching her on House. She played a doctor named 13. And I've loved her ever since. Anytime Olivia Wilde has done anything, I immediately go out and watch it. And I've never been disappointed. This movie, I really wanted to bench my love of Olivia Wilde for this movie because I know she directed it. I don't know if she wrote it or not. Probably should know that as a podcaster. But I'm almost certain she had a hand in it, if nothing else. And I wanted to go into this being like, all right, we know we love Olivia Wilde. Let's just sit that on the back burner and go into this as unbiased as we can.
Yeah, this is her second film after.
So her first movie was Booksmart. That movie I really enjoyed. That was before we had a podcast. That was before I had much of anything. But I also I did really enjoy that movie. I don't remember it being like a media darling or like a critically acclaimed movie.
For the record, the writer was the screenplay writer at least was Katie Silberman.
Yes, that does sound familiar. Actually, now that you say it out loud. Yeah. This movie, Troy, do you have anything to say about this movie before I just keep gushing about how much I love Olivia Wilde?
So I thought that all the positives of this movie, like we were saying, amazing cast, and everybody sort of does their job like incredibly well.
I didn't have an actor who I was like, he didn't show up for work this day. Like, no,
Mhm.
everybody was good.
There was like a whole thing going around before. I'm not going to get into the drama section about because I didn't feel like it was as important. But there's a whole rant in the middle of the movie that Harry Styles gives, and people were sort of saying that he bounced between accents a bunch, and like it was like a really weird sort of acting moment for him. And I think that a bunch of people are going to come in with that baggage and say that he was not good in this because of that. I thought he was fine. I thought that he had a lot of moments that were pretty good, especially when he has to bounce off of Florence Pugh, who was like becoming like the next big Hollywood person. I feel like
she's fucking incredible.
She's in so much stuff. She's gonna be in Dune.
Yep.
She's like you said, she's the new Black Widow. She's in everything lately.
To say nothing of her being in Hawkeye and putting
Mhm.
hot sauce all over her mac and cheese.
And also Yelena is my Marvel crush. But like out of everything in this movie, the soundtrack is incredible.
Yep.
The art design is really, really interesting. Like the way it's shot and everything, all the cinematography is really, really well shot. In fact, I think that there's a few scenes that I would have probably thought were a little boring if it wasn't for how the camera was set up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a very bright and vivid movie. Like it's a very, very, very interesting shaped movie. That being said, I think that it has a lot more style than it has substance. It's got a lot of metaphors brewing, and I feel like most of them are very, very literal. To the point where it's like there's a few points where like I'm like, I get what you're going for. You're kind of just saying it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's mostly where it falls flat for me, is where all the metaphors come in, where it comes in. And sometimes when it translates over into literalness, the reveal I thought was a little on the nose, and I was hoping for kind of some other things. We won't get into that until spoilers.
You're like dancing on the edge of spoiler territory, so be careful.
Yeah, I will not. But there's just a few things that I thought could have been better, pertaining to like sort of what the message of the movie was.
I might agree with that. I definitely have my complaints about the movie for logical reasons, I guess. I'm very much a guy who watches a movie like Fast and the Furious, right? And there will be a car crash, and those cars will explode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get mad because that's not how car crashes work. Like, that's just how my brain works for a lot of things. And then for other things, like Space Wizards, I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. Let me just watch this. Like, I don't know why my brain does these things. I'm going to blame it on the ADHD. But sometimes I wish I could just say, shut the fuck up. Just watch the goddamn movie. Just shut the fuck up and enjoy the goddamn movie.
Well, it is an art for movies to do that every now and then. A famous example is Jurassic Park, the very first one. When the T-Rex shows up over the enclosure and shows up for the first time and topples the car and everything, the car goes over that same wall into the enclosure, and it's now like a 40-foot drop. And if you watch back, like, on like your third or fourth thing, or if you know who to look for it, you're like, that doesn't make sense. The T-Rex was just over there. How is it so far down? He climbed over. He like walked past it. But it's a thing where it's just like, yeah, the movie's so good that
you can forgive it.
They don't. It's not even forgive it. It's just like it doesn't draw a lot of attention to it, and you're just like, oh, this is what happens next in the movie. And Spielberg's really good at that, or was really good at that. I haven't. Really
Are you saying Steven Spielberg might be a good director?
I am saying that.
You have the hottest take of 1983.
Well, also, I don't think that I've enjoyed anything from Steven Spielberg in like 10 years, so I don't know any of his new stuff. I don't know.
Well, are you counting like continuations of franchises that should have died decades ago?
Well, that's the whole thing, is I feel like that's mostly what he works on now.
Yeah.
That's not true. I think he worked on Bridge of Spies.
Did he?
That. I did like that.
I didn't know that.
But that's also Tom Hanks, so.
He also worked on the Halo thing.
Okay.
Master Cheeks.
Hmm.
Yeah. Steven Spielberg worked on that.
Interesting. Actually, I did know that. I don't know. I'm surprised.
We talked about it in the podcast. No, but this movie, Olivia Wilde, I think she did a great job as director. Everything was really well shot. I didn't have any problems with like camera work. I didn't have any problems with the way scenes were set up. Most of my problems come from like writing, I think, which I think is what you were getting at as well.
Yes.
It feels like everybody who showed up to turn this script into a movie did their jobs really well. It just, in the writing of the script, things could have been punched up a little bit.
Yeah, it needed like one more look over.
You needed like a single script doctor. If only the great Princess Leia was still with us.
It's not even. I don't know if a rewrite would have done it, because
not a rewrite, just punching up some
right
stuff.
But what I'm saying is, my issue specifically is, a lot of the stuff that they are trying to say. So a lot of stuff that they are trying to say is stuff about sort of like women's place in society, stuff like that.
In a movie that's set in 1950s America? Buddy, are you sure? Did we watch the same movie?
No. I understand. Yep.
Chauvinistic and misogynistic tendencies.
But it's just very...
Let me mull this over with some cheeseburger cheese curls.
But it's very, very literal on that. Like they nail that home a little too hard. Like, it's to the point where some things I feel like characters come out and just say the thing that's happening. It's like just a step off of that. But yeah, it's
still good.
Yeah, no, so for the record, I gave it a thumbs down. You gave it a thumbs up. I noticed in the seat next to me that you were enjoying this much more than me, I think. So that's part of the reason that I went thumbs down for the back and forth. But I do think I don't do that with movies where I thought that it actually is flawless. Like, I didn't do that with Nope, which is like not only my favorite movie of the year. I've been thinking about Nope more. I think Nope might be one of my favorite horror movies in general. And this this has the issues with it, so I decided to go on the other side of the spectrum with it.
That's fine. It's good to examine the faults in things. I don't do that very often, except for like nitpicky shit like car crashes. I'm a really weird kind of guy. What can I say? I think that about wraps it for the spoiler-free review of Don't Worry, Darling. Troy, would you go see it again?
See it again? I think that I would see it again if I
'Cause
knew
I'm-
somebody else who wanted to see it.
I'm
I don't
gonna,
think,
yeah.
I wouldn't go alone.
I immediately called my fiance after the movie was over. She's currently out of town with her family. And I was like, baby, as soon as you get home, we got to go see this movie. You're going to fucking love it. And she was like, I do like Olivia Wilde, so yeah, I'm on board.
I am not that strong about it. I feel like, so I have a friend of the pod, Caitlin McGee, who has
Best
been
friend of the pod.
best friend of the pod. She has been talking about wanting to see it, and we have been fucking talking about the drama every second of every day.
Yeah, you guys love gossip.
I don't even really. It's just this one specifically is so much. It's so much, and like pretty much all of it, except for some stuff with somebody who's not even in this movie. None of it's really criminal, so it doesn't bog me down as much and just make me upset with it. It's just fascinating how like just watching Hollywood people just eat each other. It's just so much.
Interesting. I guess I'm gonna hear all about that soon in the spoiler-heavy edition.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, if she was talking about wanting to see it, if she did want to see it, then or like any other friend who was just like really, really interested and they couldn't find anybody else to go with them, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our spoiler-free review. I'm saying go see it. At the very worst, you're gonna just waste a couple hours of your life and like $10. And you've wasted more money on less fulfilling things. Let's not pretend here, okay?
Are we doing letter grades here or in the
No. That's the full
Gotcha.
episode. All right, cool.
Still don't understand the format of this show.
You don't understand the format of your own podcast
Yeah,
that you
mine,
co-host with me?
yes, yeah.
Thanks. All right, that was it for this episode. Join us in the other episode after you've seen the movie, and yeah, that's it.
Or if you don't care.
Or if you don't care, that's always an option.